So we can go ahead and start the meeting. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a form, but Jason Albertson said he was coming. And I don't.
By the train.
Huh?
Someone just called me, they're at the train.
Oh, they're at the train? Okay.
Hey, they drove.
You pay them to get to the train. So it's okay if we just wait a few minutes for Jason to be here. And we can agree with that. I don't like to email. I don't know. Jason's phone. And then. Well, I'm not ready for you. So. Oh, there's someone else that called.
I say he may have also.
I think that's my number. We'll see if he's. Okay, so let's all figure it out. We just have to add this into.
I'm glad that I'm not holding it up.
We just have to add this, if she wants under public comment, and then.
No, it's fine, yeah. No, we're good. We're covering those.
Seriously? Did you talk to her? Okay. So we're covered.
Yeah, good.
Sorry, that's great. I'll wait till 5 after. And then we'll start. Actually, we can start. We'll wait till 5 minutes. No, I have 2 things going on. Jan, I'm going on the quorum for the, that has already been established because of the change in the numbers of people. Okay, so like this, we had to have, right, we can probably start meeting. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order, because we're just gonna go through the minutes and this will knows, I think, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. The first thing will be the approval of the minutes, and I sent out the minutes to everybody to read. One of the things I noticed on the minutes is that we're not speaking up loud enough. It's very hard for our minutes to go through. So I'm going to raise my teaching voice and speak very loud, okay? And I'm going to ask everybody to do so. And I've done this for a long time. Here he is, right here. Be back here. All right, call meeting to order. Approval of minutes. We had minutes that we had for September, for August and September that Keely was able to recreate, but she had a lot of problems recreating them because she couldn't hear everybody. And does anyone have any amendments or any questions about the minutes? No questions, would you have some?
I don't, I didn't bring them, and so I don't. It's fine.
Okay. All those, can I have a motion to
I'll make a motion that we accept
accept
both months.
both last minutes? Second? Or second? All those in favor, raise your hands. Oh, you didn't give them to everybody.
These are $5 a piece.
We had to, you said you bought one for everybody. Are you kidding me?
Said we should.
Oh.
And the guy
Don't worry.
raised my hand.
Figure that out. Okay, so the minutes have been approved as read, but the big issue is we need to have people speak up, and it's probably my fault too, because I don't speak up. So we've also changed the arrangement of the person that's going to speak. We're going to have them speak a little bit to where they're not just with their back totally to the wall, so that people, to the public, so that people can hear better. So we're going to have, first up is Emily. You say no, over there?
Yes,
Sorry, for your animal services field update.
okay.
Now then, if you think you can't yell, you can use the mic.
I have a problem. Let's stop. Nothing. Okay, how is it on?
Turn it on.
How's that?
Yes, that's good. Just speak right into it. Can everybody hear me?
Yes. All right, so we're gonna, just a reminder, we start on this page, dog has intake euthanasia return to owner. And we're gonna start with dogs. And that's gonna be, we're gonna cover October. We talked about September last month, because we had that extra meeting, right? So we did the September. So we had an intake of 443 dogs during the month of October. We had a overall of 67 euthanasia and a return to owner of 115 dogs. Our euthanasia reasons are broken down below. So in October, we had 26 dangerous dogs. We had 12 behavior, 4 medical, 5 medical PDA, 6 resources, 10 mercy. I'm gonna turn the page. This is dogs and cats combined. And so we're gonna have a total intake of 847 animals for dogs and cats, that doesn't include other animals. 146 euthanasias total, 125 return to owners total. And your euthanasia reasons are gonna basically be the same, except for, I believe we have 1 additional behavior. We have a total of 10 medical, a total of 44 medical PDA. And then also mercy category was the only other one for cats, which would be listed with 45. Next page. So this is dogs and cats separated, but with the adjusted euthanasia rate. So you're gonna have the same intake, the same on both cats and dogs as regular. But the adjusted rate is 22 for dogs and 10 for cats. And I'll cover what that adjustment means again in 1 second. And then next page. For cats, we had a total of 404 intake. We had a total overall of 79 euthanasias and a 10 return to owners. And in October for euthanasias for cats, we had 0 dangerous dogs, 4 behavior, 6 medical, 35 medical PEA, 0 resources, the vet column visit used, and then 35 mercy. Next page. I don't know why that comes in again. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next one. That's dogs and cats combined with the adjusted euthanasia rate for 24. And so just as a reminder, the adjusted euthanasia rate is based off of what we feel like we can control. So that's going to be animals that do not have right outcomes due to behavior or a medical concern. So things like mercy or dangerous dog or KDA reason, those would be things that we don't count in the general euthanasia rate or in the adjusted euthanasia rate. Any questions?
If you will talk louder without the mic, try that, because you're still.
I'm still low.
Yeah, okay.
All right, just trying now. How
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys. I'm so sorry. I think it's just when I read.
No,
it
that's
drops.
okay, that's okay.
So. Everybody ready to go to dog bites and attacks, or do you guys have questions on stats? Okay. So these are gonna be dog bites by district. On the first page, it's dog bites and attacks. And if you look at the top column, that's gonna tell you what this category is. So as a reminder, it's number of dog bites by district. And so you have district 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 below there. I'm not gonna read through all of them, but we had a total of 68 dog bites in October. Next section is dog attacks. We had a total of 55 dog attacks. And the next one is dogs deemed potentially dangerous, and we had a total of 1. Dogs deemed dangerous by district is going to, which is not potentially dangerous, just so you understand. That's a total of 20 during the month of October. Pit bull bites by district is going to be 22. Pit bull attacks is also 22, which is odd, but. The number of pit bulls deemed potentially dangerous by district is 0. The number of pit bulls deemed dangerous by district is 8. The next section is number of cat bites total, which is 20. Number of other bites and exposures, which is going to be things like wildlife, is 14. And then you have your total bites, attacks, and bites and attacks. questions?
Attacks, is that a person being attacked or another animal being attacked or a pet being attacked? What is attacked?
They can be either. Speak up. Oh, he asked what the definition of attack is, if it was by a person or they were attacked by another animal was attacked, and so it can be either. The system that records as the polls, it doesn't differentiate, it's just what's reported as and entered into our system and an attack defined by chapters.
Thank you.
Any questions, other questions?
Yes, I have a question. I should have mentioned this before. It would be nice if you could have just a sheet where you could take in intake animals and compare the numbers from 2024 to 2025, so that we have some sort of idea whether it's getting better or whether it's getting worse. And so I don't know how that could show. I don't think it has to show with, I think we should definitely see the numbers of cats coming in and maybe having, I know that there was a graph that Purcell did at one time where he had, the numbers of animals per month. And then they had the numbers of animals per month from 2024, so we can see whether things are getting better, because we really don't know if it's getting better or if it's getting worse. I don't know if you have that.
Yeah.
I should ask you that, or.
No, we can do that. I wanted to adjust kind of how some of this data is presented, so, because I find it a little hard to, understand if you're not looking at it regularly. So be thinking about anything else that you'd like to present. I can do what I can with our software, but, I was gonna try to see what I can do with that in January, after we have the full year's data, because I don't want to mix it in mid-year. But yeah, I can add.
Is anyone else would you guys be interested in that, knowing whether we're going up or down?
The,
I think, and you could just use the total.
Yeah, that's just the
Not
total,
like
just the total,
just by.
not anything else, just total cast total.
you just want that on dog bites and attacks?
No, I want that
On
on
everything.
yeah,
Okay.
just on income, I mean, definitely on income.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to find the sheet, which I can't, when you have your response times,
Yes, it's the last sheet.
I know, and I had it, but it's gone.
It's okay.
Okay, on the response times, I noticed that you just had the percentage, but it would be nice to know what the percentage is of the numbers.
Yes.
And so can you have the numbers of how, can you make it, how do you know how many, well, in order to get percentage, you have to know numbers.
Yeah,
So can you put the numbers of calls that made that?
per month.
Yeah, per month. Yeah, I think that would make it a little bit more understandable.
Understand there's what
Just a percentage of
what-
nothing doesn't mean anything to us. Okay,
And, I'm hoping to, start working on the audit of our dispatch system, and the information that we report from that in January, February, so hopefully we'll get some more clarity and understanding of how that all works.
So these response rates. What does it mean? Like in October is 86.5. So someone calls in. You responded 86.5%.
Like,
So
Really?
13.5% were,
not respond.
I find that. Hmm.
well, it'd be nice to know what the number, I mean, did it mean that you didn't respond to 10 or you didn't respond to 100? That would be interesting.
Yeah, so it's about 14,000 a year. So if we break that down, by month, you kind of get a rough idea. It can go a little higher, a little lower, on different months.
Could you get the numbers?
Yeah, no, I can. I'm just letting you guys know that for now, so you can. You have to say that now.
So the, excuse me, the post office back in 2013, when I started this crusade, they went ahead and gave you guys a special number down at Animal Services.
No, we gave them a special.
Well, I mean, all right, they have a special number to call you.
Absolutely.
How's that working? Because there's a disconnect. Right, so there's a disconnect somewhere. I mean, I don't know where it is. There is a disconnect. I mean, they're either not calling. I've talked with some of the people and they've said they've called and Have we got an answer or something? So I'm trying to find out,
This is not on her report. Aren't you gonna address?
well, this is response rates, and this definitely has something to do with response rates. So when this 86.5 response rate, when are they responding? Like 10 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now, tomorrow? I mean, today?
Well, it depends on the priority call, the number of officers available, so that's an incredibly high variable.
Right, that's true.
And so in regard, I know that you'll bring this up later, but just in regards to, for example, your postal complaint. I did speak with the postal manager, and while they admitted that they remembered that there was a direct line, they had forgotten to use it, and they agreed that they would announce that at their chief meeting.
Let's see, that's a plus. Thank you.
And so I did leave a message for the postmaster as well, because back when Purcell was trying to work with them, I think that they have a new postmaster, in hopes that we can just, provide that, make sure that all the new postal carriers, everybody knows that they do have a direct line to our dispatch phone and cell phones, for all hours.
That'd be great.
Any other questions?
I have a couple. First of all, I appreciate the report that you gave to the council at the workshop. I thought it was extremely.
Speak up.
I thought it was extremely informative. You explained the procedure of marketing. There's been a lot of stuff on social media, so could you just briefly run how?
Yeah, absolutely. That video is available on the city website, which shows the different places that animals are marketed, if our partner DHS isn't able to take them. And so we utilize a website called Trello, and I can have, Kiwi put it in the minutes, that has that link. It's a longer link, so I can't spell it all out. But that'll have that available, and those animals can be viewed, by anybody in the public, but that is specifically for our rescue partners, so that they can see what animals are in need of transfer to, whether it's a vet clinic or a rescue partner, something like that. And even some of the animals that are available for direct adopt.
Can everybody hear her?
Good. Okay, my second question is, an accusation has recently been resurfaced and on whether or not your staff is paid to have lunch. Could you please address that?
Yeah, so because of the nature of our work, we are, I'm trying to remember to speak up. We are, we basically offer 24-hour services, and we offer counter services and field services. And we don't have enough staff that we could alternate having an actual lunch break. So we don't always get a lunch break. We basically just have to eat on the clock as available. So for example, all of the officers and staff clean the shelter every morning. And we have some officers in the field, but the officers that are in the shelter cleaning need to be ready to open up the shelter at 11. So that means that we have to get all of the shelter cleaning done. For the most part, like the public areas for sure, and the feeding and all of our morning activities before we open up at 11. Well, those people that need to cover the front counter have to be able to get that part done. So in order for them to be able to eat before they have to go up to the front counter. And so sometimes that happens, and then sometimes there's too many animals or we're short staffed, and that doesn't happen. And so I try to do everything I can to make sure that all of my staff eat, but it's just unfortunately the nature of it, same with our field officers, if they're out in the field working. And they get out and they're on call, they can try to grab a bite to eat, but the priority of the call and level is what is gonna take precedent.
Because isn't it state law also that if they are working through their lunch, they are to be paid?
Yes. Yeah. And so it's just, we have to have coverage at all times, so they can't have a.
So the only way you could make sure they weren't would be to actually close for 30 minutes.
Right, like to stop offering field services or reduce field services and
Or shut the counter down for an lunch.
Okay, again, I'm gonna ask everyone, I've been asked that people ask like, talk is like you think you're talking to that wall back there, okay? And it doesn't happen, and it's hard for Keely to get that, okay, so please
Am I
speak
still
up.
talking to cell phone?
Okay.
Well, I think we won't know until
Okay.
Ely listens back to them.
Well, he said that we shouldn't just talk to each other, we need to talk to the whole group. Okay. Okay, any other questions?
I just begs the question, in my mind, are the shelter personnel, hourly or salary?
Hourly. Any other questions?
I gotta tell you, in a side note, last night I was at a neighborhood meeting and an officer has been on the job for 6 years. And he told me that they only get a half an hour paid lunch, but he said he hasn't taken one in 2 years. I mean, 2 in 6 years. He's only taken 2. The guy needs to get a medical. He's only taken 2 lunch breaks in 6 years.
Animal control or?
No, it was a police
I
officer.
can tell you that as having relatives and friends on the PD. A lot of times they order lunch or dinner and it's not eaten because they're all out.
I bring a lot of food in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Any other questions? Oh, I need to go get the college, Jim. Sorry about that. This? No, this one here. Oh, we just have 2 people want to comment. Okay, first up is Tony Winger from District 5.
Hello.
Did you?
Okay, well, I'm gonna sound like a broken record again before you. I'm glad to see Mr. Walker here. I talked about this in August, in May.
And speak up.
Okay, talked about this in May or August, I thought I turned that off, but I didn't. Anyway, years ago, I don't know how many years ago, we had the licensing subcommittee that worked on licensing for the city of Wichita, dog licensing. We didn't get cats, but we got dogs. And trying to figure out ways to increase the number of people who own dogs that actually get them a license. That's revenue to the city, and that helps the shelter in returning the animals to their owner because they have more information on them, etc. And at that time, the committee thought it might be a good idea if the Kansas Humane Society would license dogs as they adopt them out. And that would, of course, require getting them a rabies vaccination, which is also a safety matter for the city of Wichita. And I've talked about this, and you keep telling us that you're working on it. And you give us an update on that as well.
Yeah, I think actually the last update I gave was that, so once an animal has been vaccinated, they can't be vaccinated with an additional vaccine within 14 days. So there's 2 issues that play against our ability to offer licensing and rabies at the time of adoption. The first is the fact that the city made this recommendation, but did not attach a funding bill to provide for a veterinary exam at the time of adoption. That is a substantial cost because those adoptions happen all throughout the day. And I don't have a vet who can just drop what they're doing to go do a full head to toe exam at the time of adoption so that they can give a rabies vaccine. So the cost of that is issue 1. Issue 2 is that if they've been given a vaccine upon intake, which is our practice in collaboration and alignment with Wichita Animal Services, then we cannot give another vaccine within 14 days, or that vaccine is basically useless. So any animal that is within that time frame, we would not be eligible at all. Now, we have animals that are in the shelter longer, but again, the costs related to having a veterinarian available to provide an exam at the time of adoption is just not something that we're able to do at this time. We've continued to look at it and continue to try to figure out if there's ways that we can do it, and ways that we can offer it. We're getting ready to open a community clinic, which will offer both low cost services to the community and low income services to the community. One of which is offering rabies vaccines to adopted animals once once the owner can schedule that. So our hope is to begin implementing that. We're doing a soft launch right now internally, and then just with a very small group through December, and then we're gonna have marketing and stuff and try to launch it to the public, as we head into the new year. So we're hopeful that we can begin providing that for some animals. But the logistics behind the recommendation, have just proven a little bit difficult.
Okay, so the question I have is, what about the?
Okay, that's, okay,
That's all?
yeah, we can't have you asking questions, just go ahead and stay, okay?
Yeah.
I guess I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can't,
Oh,
Well, I've got a question,
okay,
but I think it's gonna answer her question. So you poo-pooed all over the rabies thing, and I get it, I do get it, I mean, so. And maybe that's a poor choice of words,
Wait,
but you explained it away, so we can't fight that, the rabies. But how about, we haven't mentioned the license, is there any way you could do the license?
you can't do the license without the rabies.
Yeah, that's.
The rabies in effect is like getting the license. I mean, they fill out,
Oh, they go hand in hand?
Yeah, they're tied.
Oh,
They're tied together.
Go ahead and.
Never mind.
Visit, go ahead and ask your questions, and we won't have anyone answer until she's finished, okay?
Okay.
Just with that, okay?
okay, the question I have is, my understanding is when dogs come over to KHS from WAS or individual to, a vet does look at them at one point and also possibly spays and neuters them. And the rabies shot can't be given at that time?
No, that is almost always within that 2-week window. I'm sorry, I will not
That's,
respond.
that's okay. Okay, go ahead, because your time's almost up.
Okay, well, I guess you're giving another vaccine when they first come in, and now you can't give them the rabies vaccine within 14 days. Which, when I take my dog to the vet, we get all kinds of vaccines, including rabies.
I could respond to that.
Yes,
As a veterinarian.
yes,
So when you administer a vaccine, you're challenging the immune system. No matter how many, it could be 1, it could be 5. You either give them all at the same time, or you split them up by, I like to do it by 3 weeks. Which allows the immune system to process that vaccine and then get recharged for the next time we get a vaccine. That's how I explain it to my pet owners. So, they've got to come back for a booster, if the booster's necessary, within 3 to 6 weeks for that booster to be effective. But if you give a vaccine prior to that, then the immune system may or may not respond to it. So in the case of a rabies vaccine, some people view that as a technicality, I got a rabies vaccine, now we're good. Well, we give a vaccine to protect the pet and to protect the public. And of all the vaccines we administer, the rabies is probably the most important in terms of public health. So I see where that's, and it's unfortunate that they have to vaccinate at the time of intake. They've got to do that. Have to, because there's life-threatening diseases that, well, unfortunately, you vaccinate, they come in, and then they're exposed within a day or two. The immune system has not had any chance to respond, and they'll get parvo if they're exposed to it potentially. But that's the best we can do. That's how that works.
well, then the vaccine clinics and people go in and they get the distemper parvo and the rabies at the same time, you're saying.
That's okay, because we're challenging it all the same.
That's okay, that's all right, because that's how I've never gone to where when I go to the vet for annuals, they get the vaccine for the rabies if they need it, and the distemper.
You get it all, yeah.
Yeah, and so.
Either vaccinate them for all of them,
And so.
or,
Or schedule them out.
schedule them out.
Now,
Split them up.
okay, so you can do a rabies vaccination along with the distemper parvo,
You could,
okay, you can. Yes,
yes,
Okay,
we do it all the time.
okay, but you just said you can't do that.
No, I'm sorry. No, I said you can't do it additionally, like within the 2-week period, 2 to 3 week period after. So if we did distemper parvo at intake,
Yes,
And then
then,
rabies.
and if you did rabies at the same time, that would be okay.
yes.
But again, now what you're saying is you want a vet to be basically on staff at WAS to do a full head to toe exam as animals come in.
Because it's required by state law that
Yeah.
the veterinarian must be.
I understand.
Yeah, so that's the rub. It really is a resource issue. And when I say we're really efforting it, we're trying to figure out what our workarounds are. Because we don't have the resources to put a vet at WAS 24 hours a day to do the rabies vaccine at intake with the other services, with the other vaccines at that time. WAS doesn't have the resources to hire a vet to do that, at least within the current budget. It's
Well,
like,
at our high season, we're gonna have 30 intakes a day that effectively need 30 exams, which is just not plausible
also not feasible.
or affordable.
Yeah, so it's a resource issue in addition to a timing issue.
I was thinking that you could not do the rabies vaccination and the December parvo together.
You can,
Yes, you can.
But-
That's
there has to be a
good.
veterinarian.
I understand.
I guess,
I'm kind of confused because I was talking about the dogs you take from WAS and transfer them over to KHS. Because those are the dogs you're adopting now.
They've already been given a vaccination when they come into WAS.
Right, so we have to wait.
That's-
Yeah, so we have to wait a certain amount of time. That's.
So
the
I guess
problem.
that's a moot point now.
Okay. Next up is, thank you, next up is, where did you? You took me to some-
We won't ask you again.
It's okay.
You covered it.
It's
Thank you.
okay, we're trying, we literally are trying, and the community clinic, we're really hopeful that people will use it to bring their dogs back for rabies vaccines. It's one of the things we're gonna try to hit on.
Okay, D Boswell? Is that, who's D? Oh, you're D Boswell? Oh, you, okay. You didn't come in after the meeting, but since we started, I had not pulled it, I'm gonna go ahead and let you speak.
I signed in for her. She was the one who trained us.
Oh, she was not trained. Oh, okay, all right. And it's D Boswell, DEEBOSWELL.
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
They like you to sit down, yeah.
I've never done this and I wasn't ready for this today. I'm really nervous.
And you're from District 3?
Yes.
Okay,
So the 2200 to 2300 block of South Belmont
and speak really loud, like you're speaking the whole room.
got a mail suspension notice due to frequent dog attacks. What I heard earlier was that the postmaster was admitted a special phone number to handle these calls going to animal control. Apparently that hasn't been utilized. There has been over 7 calls that they've made with case numbers that have been provided to get this issue resolved. So much so that over the past 9 months, it has been so continuous that they are now requiring of all residents of that street, renters and those with special needs, those that are on disability, fixed incomes, because it is a low income community. To install their own mailboxes or pay for PO boxes or travel to the US Postal Service every day to pick up their mail. If it is not picked up, it gets rerouted to the center. So I guess my question today is what can we do to resolve this, to get animal control to resolve this? Because I don't think it should be at the expense of all of the residents to suffer this issue of one dog who resides at 2301 South Belmont.
Is this what you're gonna be talking about, George, on the agenda?
No,
Um,
this is a new one.
have you tried contacting our offices yet? I have not directly contacted your office. I just kind of walked into this. We got the letter on Monday. I've kind of been getting the ball rolling. I've spoken to the postmaster. I've spoken to city council. I've spoken to the neighborhood committee. And I've gotten a petition signed by all of the residents who this would negatively impact and what they are asking in return.
I'd be happy to connect with you outside of this to see what I can do. I can pull up the address and I can contact your postmaster or your postman, that's local.
I would appreciate that. Can you give me your name? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's EMIOY. HURS.
Okay, so you are going to, visit with her?
Yep.
Good.
I'm gonna just go ahead and finish giving my contact information, that way anybody that needs it has it. My email is ehurst@wichita.gov. And if you just wanna shoot me an email with your phone number and stuff, and then we can, connect, as soon as you're available.
Last name was HURSST.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that was pretty
Thank
much
you
it.
very much. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, we're gonna go on to new business, bylaws. Jan, do you want to start this off? Do you want me to start this off? We've got this, we got two copies that we sent out to, are not sent out, but two. We've got a clear copy and then we've got a smaller copy with some another comments that didn't get in. I think what we need to do is have everybody read the copy, okay, read the clear copy, and we'll go over the changes. Do you want to do this, Jan, or do you want me to do this?
No, yeah, you can do it. I'll just say that I reviewed them and I think they are in compliance with city ordinance. And my only suggestion on it that I think that wasn't done yet is I would go ahead and write on, I think it'd be on number 4. You all should consider what is a VP supposed to do. And you might want to put that into because otherwise, I mean, I know this ordinance says you have to have 2 of them, which I know for a board this small, that's odd. And even if the point of the VP is just to take the place of the president when the president's not there, whatever you all decide the VP does, you might stick it in this bylaw. But otherwise, I think they are in compliance with city ordinance, and that's really my only part of this.
I have a concern that we've always been called chairperson and not president. And I feel that we are not a president of a board of directors, we're an advisory board, and I looked up, is there a reason, because I looked up on other advisory boards, they all have chair, they don't say president, they all have chair.
You can call chair, that's fine.
Is that a problem?
And I was elected as vice chair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vice
so we've
chair.
always been chair, so what, can we change the president to, everything, the president is chair instead of president? Does anyone want to vote on that, or have any disagreement?
And I kind of like, as the vice president, don't feel the same way.
Well,
Especially because we don't even know what their duties are,
I think that,
especially the number 2.
yes, I don't know what we can do for number 1 or number 2. I think number 2 will come in case number 1 and 2 are, or in case the chair and the vice chair have all been killed. And then, but then we won't have a quorum. No, I don't know.
So can we change it to, well, then I'm gonna do vice chair and vice chair 2.
I think we can do first vice chair and second vice chair. That's what we'll do. First vice chair and second vice chair. And then, I have, is that all you have, Jan?
Yep, that's all I have.
Okay, I have something that we need to have clarified, and that is on the length of term for, let me see. As, number 4. I guess number 1 on number 4, I guess there's a number 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 1. It says the president and 2 vice presidents, the chair and 2 vice chairs will be elected for a 1-year term. The tenure of the office is not to exceed 2 consecutive terms, okay? So, and then a person on the chair can be reappointed or not be reappointed, but if they're reappointed for 2, then they have to stand up, they cannot be appointed for another year, okay? We had that issue that we thought it was just, they had to be kicked off every year, and that's not how it is, it's the consecutive 2. And then I think after they've been skipped a year, then they can go, if they have to go back on, okay, because I thought we'd run out of people that wanted to be chair, we'd run out for 8 years.
So so I have a question, so you have the chair, and say Ellen is up 2 years, and then the 3rd year, could she be elected as one of the vice chairs?
Yes,
Okay.
But I'm only being elected for 1 year, okay?
yes.
I mean, it's a 1-year thing, it's a 1-year thing for everybody, okay? And
And can be elected for 2 consecutive.
yes, but then after that, you have to go on, the person has to go on.
And you're sure that you can do 2, let's say you did 2 in a row, that you off for 1 year, and then you could do again? You
It
could,
says, consecutive, which to me means you can come back again.
That's why Stephanie, she was on the board for quite, she was here for quite some time. She's still with us. Okay, and then we have the.
When is the vote?
Well.
Is that in here?
When
Jan, is it in here, the vote for
it's in July.
your person?
Yeah, so it's in here somewhere,
Oh, okay.
same page. Item 4, page 2. 1B, the first one.
Very good.
That's okay.
Very good.
And then. I think everything else that we put in there and changed, we've already discussed. But you guys want to go line by line or item by item?
I just, the only. Are we gonna say what the vice chairs do? I think something needs to be put in there.
Okay, so,
And. Has anybody been on a board where the vice chair did more than just cover?
no,
I mean.
No. Sounds like a coverage thing.
pardon?
Sounds like a coverage though.
So basically just add the vice chair, the first vice chair will cover if the chair is absent and the second vice chair would cover if both the chair and the first vice chair
We
were
caught
absent.
totally that we couldn't go on.
And
I don't know. I was drastic when I said to go back hill. I don't know why.
I know, yeah,
Shocking.
speak for yourself.
I know, type myself, you know, I sometimes type people. Okay, any other questions on those? A lot of these, what Susan did and what Jan asked us to do is we put them in a different order, which made more sense. And Jan, thank you for saying that, because I was thinking that and I thought, well, I can't mess with it, but it needed to be in a much better order. I thought it was kind of weird the way that they put that the first time.
So are both the copies kind of the same except?
They're actually the same.
Okay.
They're actually the same. It's just that they've got some little things. And this.
No, it doesn't say here, but let's say there was 10 or 12 people. Should we say that it's limited to, it says 25 minutes, but there's 12 people, we're not gonna just let them just 2 minutes. But we're not gonna let them do 5 probably. So should we say 3 minutes if it gets much over 25 minutes?
I think that what the city council does, and they figure out how many people are there, and then, because I've been to speak at the city council when I could speak for 5, but then I only can speak for 2 because we have a whole line of people, you know.
Right, that's a special meeting.
That's a special meeting. What do you think,
But
Jen? I mean, I think you all can decide. Oh,
I think we need to take it on a month by month basis, depending on how many items we have on the agenda. If we've got 8 items that we have to discuss, then because you also have public comment after each of those items.
That would be a little difficult because you don't want audience members thinking that you are excluding them for their message.
Right.
You're better off saying not to exceed a certain amount of time.
So-
And then you can divide the time up based on how many people are here.
But not to exceed 5 minutes.
But if you're always gonna let someone do 20 minutes, I probably wouldn't cut it. Because you have a bunch of stuff on your.
No, I'm not saying cut.
Okay.
I'm just saying, let's not say 3 minutes times 12, because that's 36.
Heard, okay, I agree.
Yeah.
As long as you're.
It's like 25
always
minutes.
allowing the
Yeah.
same amount of time every meeting, and then try.
Overall.
Yeah,
Okay, so we said 25 minutes, and so there's 12 people, they're only gonna get 2 minutes? Like,
Yeah.
school 2 times 12, 24.
Yeah.
I think you can decide if you want to cut, if you wanna cut it at the number of people, because we have 25 minutes, so only this many are allowed to speak. Or if you wanna try to accommodate everyone, I think that's your call.
See, I have a problem with people coming, and I have been to meetings where we've had 50-some people there to speak. And it's usually over a very controversial situation. And I have a problem with, they come to speak and then they're told they can't speak. And now we are limited for time here. Before, when we had that huge massive thing, we were at the transit station, we could stay till 9 o'clock. And we did stay till 9 o'clock. I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember those meetings, but they were really tough. But anyhow, so I do have a feeling that maybe, is there a way that if the board says we have more and we want to extend that 25 minutes, that we can extend it if it's on situation. Maybe we want to make sure people are heard, and maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but not 5 minutes.
At the discretion of the chairperson.
Yeah, can we add that to us? Is that-
That sounds too subjective.
And it'd be, I
No,
know,
it needs to be voted by the board,
I
not by the.
think,
chair. It needs to be-
because I have been to a couple of meetings that the city council had at the library, and because they had 100 people show up, they were limited to 2 minutes. And two, because also to make sure, and this is something that you did announce ahead of time, is that they're not repeating, that the first 5 speakers are
Yes,
talking
that-
about the same thing. And that happened with the landlord tenant,
That was
meeting.
Big meeting.
and that was a big meeting, and I listened to most of it. And at least, fortunately, most of the speakers would come up and say, okay, half of mine has already been said 2 or 3 times. I just want to put this point out, and they might have only talked for 1 or 2 minutes. They just did a point that hadn't been made. And so if we have 12 or 20 speakers, then maybe we request that if somebody has already said what you were gonna say, either pass or just. Because we are limited to time.
well, so for the purposes of bylaws. Does it need another, like an item 6? That says something like, at its discretion, the board may extend the public comment portion of the meeting.
Well, I don't think that's what everyone's wanting to do.
Mm-mm.
I think they're
Okay.
not wanting to, they want to.
So I'm good with that.
No, I think we decide on how long they,
It's 25.
whether
minutes.
we would decide whether we're gonna limit the number of speakers or the time.
So do you want to make a motion to that, and we can vote and then.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we add that. We either
We leave it
limit the time or that the time remains. We either limit the time they have to speak, or we limit the number of speakers. Not to exceed 25 minutes.
Anyone second that?
I said,
All those in favor? I'm sorry.
Well, wait a minute. Jen just said we want to make sure they get to be heard, and in that motion,
No, that, well,
you.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to find the section for you.
Well,
The ordinance does say that you can limit the time to accommodate more people. And that you can limit the number if it is excessive, if everybody's on the same side, you can limit the number of speakers. The ordinance, I'm looking for that spot in the ordinance that tells you that. So
but we would,
that's fine.
the board would have to determine, we would have to vote, so that would be brought up.
You have some.
Well, it just seems to me if we have a certain amount of time, we just divide it by the number of speakers. And then we adhere to that.
but I see what you're saying, George. I do understand that. And I think it echoes what Ellen was saying about preparing to speak and then not being able to do that. That does leave a bad taste in
Yeah.
people's mouth. So I do understand.
Yeah, if they come, they need to be heard. That's all I've ever said. Whatever.
So if you felt that way, we could add. So that we have the ability to, at not the discretion of the chair, but there can be a vote to extend that time period, okay? But it has to be a vote of the board, and not to chair.
Are you talking about extending the total?
The 25 minutes, maybe you say it
25
to
minutes.
35 or 40 minutes, so that, that sort of stuff, because we've had that time. We don't want to spend it on that, we could add some time, and just I think, I would feel more comfortable if we've already taken this vote, so this is not good. That, we can make a substitute, I want to say,
We just have to make an emotion.
make an emotion, that we have that ability, okay? Because if we have a hot topic, trust me, the cat issue is a hot topic, and that was what caused us to be tons of people, and you know how many people want to talk on that. And so maybe we can say this is a hot topic, we have all these people that have come to our meeting, we don't want to say, oh, well, very few can either talk, or you can come up and talk and say, hi, my name is so-and-so, and sit down. So we give that time, and if we have that, then we can vote on it and then we take.
The other option would be to request that we get to extend the meeting. So that,
Well, we can't extend the meeting, we can extend the meeting, I know you guys don't like that. We can extend the meeting to 7:30, okay? Because that's when the thing was, time,
I need to, I'm sorry, I'm just very confused, because there was a motion made by Bradley. It was seconded by Richardson, but then you guys voted and now there's discussion.
yeah, now because,
That's not how it's supposed to go.
well, we voted so it passed, but we can also add to
Okay.
that.
Now,
No.
if it passed, did George,
he posed.
He didn't vote,
he was the nay, everyone else was the yay,
Yeah.
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
we should have talked about this before.
Well, we kind of have them.
Well, I think the vote came a little quick. I
Yeah,
have a motion you could propose.
Go ahead.
I propose that we add an item that says, at its discretion, the board may vote to extend the public comment portion of the meeting not to exceed some number of minutes, which I know we need to say the number, so I'll say 35.
so that would,
So that's my motion, what she said.
Can you second it?
that's so Susan's motion and George is gonna second it, sorry.
We have to,
Is that? How does everybody feel about that?
So are you doing that as a substitute motion?
Is this?
no, it's an added line item.
We can't do it, it's just add
Yeah.
one item to this,
So you're keeping your original motion?
yes.
Just so.
I called the vote too soon.
But you can substitute this new motion for the old motion.
Usually it has, a substitute motion has to come before a vote. Yeah.
Why can't we make this motion that we
An
have?
amendment has to come before a vote.
Well, I'm not
I don't
a
know how you.
perfect person on that.
My suggestion on this is that you all workshop this and that you come back at the next meeting and pass it all at one time instead of making a bunch of motions.
On the whole thing. Oh.
But
that's
or you
okay.
can do it both-
It's my, I will say we should have had more discussion on, I'm sorry, we should have had more discussion.
Shall I read my motion again? I mean, shall I read George's motion again?
Well, then we're not gonna, okay,
Where are they?
we're gonna present it next January, present it January. Right,
Your previous one passed.
Yeah, you don't have to, you can do it piece by piece, it's fine. I just thought,
what'd you say?
you can continue to do it the way you're doing it, it's fine. You can do it either way. If you wanna finish it up tonight, you could go piece by piece.
Yeah,
and get it done.
let's just do it and. Go ahead.
Cause can I ask you a question? Okay, so we had a motion, it was second and we passed it. So if it would come, like say in the March meeting, we have 20 people show up, then could we make a motion that night to extend?
Only if it's in the Bible, that's why I want to have.
But it has to be in the bylaws, or can we make a motion that due to the circumstances, we're gonna make a motion that we extend it 10 minutes?
It would depend what the original bylaws say. If the original bylaws do not discuss that issue, then you can do it. But if they say how long the meeting has to be, or how long the public comment has to be, then you need new bylaws that would allow you to.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Okay. I'll make your motion, we'll second it and we'll vote on it, and then if it's wrong, we'll say we have to throw the motion away.
Can we discuss?
And we can
Before we
discuss it.
vote.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes.
Good. At its discretion, the board may vote to extend the public comment portion of the meeting not to exceed 35 minutes. That's my motion.
And that would be 6, correct?
Yes, item 6.
The
Is there a
second,
second?
yeah.
Discussion.
I don't know whether 35 minutes is the right amount of time. It's a placeholder.
You could leave it as extend
I wanna back up a minute, so the portion of this meeting is limited to 25 minutes with a limit of 5 minutes per speaker. Should we have, shouldn't that read per speaker maximum?
Okay, let's,
I know, I just throwing that out there, we also have that in there. Okay,
I think that we don't want someone to come up here and talk to us for 20 minutes just because no one else came.
no, but if we had, if we only had, okay, instead of having 5 speakers, say we had 6. Then right now, the way it's,
I would,
on the
I
agenda,
would divide this.
it says 5 minutes or less. It does not say 5 minutes or less in the bylaws. On,
Doesn't,
no,
oh, I think.
it should,
No, not, or
no, does it say it somewhere else?
could say it from the board.
Yeah, some number, it's here, it says, the portion of the meeting is limited to 25 minutes with a limit of 5 minutes per speaker.
So it should say 5 minutes or less per speaker. If you match what's on the
A
other.
limit means 5 is a limit, so anything less is just, what a limit.
Yeah, that's the top, so that's it.
Okay,
Do we want to take a vote, just so we could?
Oh, so, okay, I like the idea of putting. I'm back on item 6. I like the idea of putting a limit on the total time and on the extension. For the purposes of keeping the meeting in a time frame.
Instead of 35, maybe we should go with 40, that way if there's 20 people, it's just 2 minutes. It's an even number, we can do some.
Sure.
that's a,
Well, if we do that, we need to have them speak, but no one is gonna talk, we're not gonna ask questions, we're not gonna have any back and forth, we have to have them just speak. And there will be no set questions where they're gonna be answering the questions to them. Does that make sense? And that's basically what we have to do. I think that's kind of what we should be doing anyhow, so everyone can speak. And it doesn't say, it just says here, no action will be taken relative to the items on the public comment, so we're not supposed to take any action on those anyhow.
if we could discuss after all of the public comment, if we wanted to as well. Correct.
It could come up on an agenda item the next month.
That's exactly right.
Unless
We
it
come up with
was-
agenda item.
Something that needed to be
Assignments.
discussed. Assignments.
So we first and seconded on the 35, and I suggested maybe 40. So do we need
Well, you
to
have to substitute most of
Substitute.
make a substitute motion, everything she said? She was looking for a number, I picked another number, 40.
Is there a second to that?
My second.
Okay, so now we have to take it to a vote. Okay, all those in favor of the substitute motion, raise your hand.
I think it's too long. I vote no.
Keep them up, I'm sorry, keep them up.
Yeah.
You're a limited number.
Only could come into play once in a while, anyway.
It may not, but if there was something that really we needed to let the public hear, I think you guys would be upset if you came here to speak and you couldn't speak. And then I would say, you let me speak, or I couldn't say that, so that's giving a little bit of labor. All right? Anything else? That was the only thing that we had to carry, everything else is the same. Do you have any discussion more, or do you?
Jan, and like I asked you last, did you look into any more of the, because I had concerns on.
What was it about?
On, I'm getting permission to
Oh.
be able to help people. Look, remember we talked about this. See it on this one. There's somewhere in here where it says. I remember the conversation. Because it's like, if I get an email and it says, go help this person or take care of this issue. It was
Oh.
defined,
You were talking about, it's under duties.
Okay.
I think you had it under duties and. Um. Just part of the conversation, we had an email exchange, I think, but it was about, duties of the board, and my concern, my answer was, my only concern is that the board can't act on behalf of the police department or WAS and do business.
my question is.
Okay, that's number two,
Yeah.
purpose,
Okay,
okay?
when
That's where
my,
I'm right there.
my question was when my councilman gets an email from somebody with a problem, he sends it to me and says, go take care of it. So, but I'm not,
And it's awkward, because I think that's not appropriate, I mean, you can take care of personal business, but you can't take care of business of the department.
no,
You need to
because,
report it to the department.
because what I normally do is get the facts and then call Emily.
Yeah.
But I just wanna make sure I'm not doing anything that's gonna get me in trouble. Yeah, when people call and ask questions, and that's just, I just want that clarified, that
That
that's,
you act as a liaison between,
right,
then
that's exactly what it is.
I mean, I don't,
Cause I get calls all the time.
I don't think that would be bad, if you want to put in a role that you act as a liaison between the public and the.
And whoever, yeah,
That,
Yeah, I think that's covered in B on purpose, on number two, purpose B, it says. You don't have the authority to speak on behalf of the animal section, animal services section, but you can speak as part of, I am Nancy, this is what I would say. Cause I do that when people wanted to give up animals, so if she's not speaking, and you're not gonna say, I'm a member of the advisory board, and this is what I tell you. You're speaking of, I'm Nancy and.
but I am a member of the, and they know that, and if they ask, I have to tell them what my title is.
But I guess I do that.
Can you put into words what you're proposing?
Oh, I'm not proposing, I'm asking for clarification.
Yeah, this is something that we can't change, we have to just follow the
Well,
rules.
she just said,
you would not be in violation if you acted as a liaison between a citizen or a council member
and whether it was her
WAS.
or the.
Because you're not representing the city
Right.
or like the animal, you're not representing WAS, you're representing the citizen and ask. So I don't think you're in any kind of violation.
Okay, I just,
You're acting as a private citizen.
well, but
Or
having
a member of
a
the
board
board.
member, but
I mean, you could make a C that says board members may act as a liaison between, if you want to add a C, you can, but you're not in any kind of violation
just as long as you don't
by answering this.
send somebody out to arrest me
Deal.
or find me.
Mhm.
Okay,
Any other discussion over the board of bylaws?
I'll say one more thing about the ordinance, and I think I put that in the notes on one of those, on. The ordinance also says, any member, this is the ordinance that relates to all boards, not the only board, all boards. Any member of the public shall be allowed to submit items for the agenda, except for items pertaining to personnel, litigation, and other matters. Members of the public desiring to do so, to present matters in the board or commission shall submit a request in writing stating the name of the individual desiring to be heard and the matter to be presented, which request shall be submitted in time and matter provided by such board. So you can put in your bylaws how to get on the board, how to get it on the agenda. Items for agenda unusually detailed or complicated, thus requiring more than 5 minutes for presentation, may be presented in writing prior to the meeting to allow for duplication and distribution to the board or commission.
Wouldn't that be covered under public comment?
I mean,
What they're saying is if it's more than 5 minutes, it needs to be, they can submit an agenda item.
Is that what you said, more than 5, something that would take?
well, it just says that any member of the public shall be allowed to submit items for the agenda,
Okay. for the
not
agenda.
the public agenda, but you could put something on the agenda.
Okay,
You did it ahead of time and you got the board to agree to put it on you.
But we get the opportunity to approve it for the agenda.
okay, that's gonna take a rewrite, guys.
Is that in that side comment? Did I make that whole?
Yeah,
Right here.
could you just put that, in?
But see, she's saying that it can't be in the public comment, it can be just, if they
It's-
can put it.
What we need to do is move it up into
Or is
part
there,
A,
or is there a number we
or
can
add it
reference?
to part A, is my question. So I'm on page 3. Section 5, agenda and order of business. Part A is about what I'm gonna call the board agenda, which is prepared by the president. Part B includes the public comment, right?
Yes,
So that's the part where I think we're talking about the limitation of time. But I'm wondering if what you're saying is in part A, we need an item that allows the public to submit to our board agenda.
you could take that exact wording, right out of the ordinance and make it number 3.
On number
On-
A.
Yeah,
Under
part
BA.
Okay, I think that we all know that, and so that's not something that we can vote on, that's something that we have to do. Okay, that's per ordinance, right?
Well, it doesn't say it has to be in your bylaws, but it sure does make it neater, so somebody can look at your bylaws and see what the rules are.
Yes.
So,
But it's also at the approval of the
Of the
board.
board, but then that means.
So that would
that-
be probably the chair and the vice chair.
No, I don't know who would be the approval of the board. Okay, how's it read? It says approval of the,
it doesn't really say approve, it says, members of the public desiring to so present matters to the board shall submit a request in writing stating the name, I'm gonna skip through it, be heard, desiring to be heard, which request shall be submitted in a time and manner provided by such board or commission, for placing items on the agenda. That's requiring, you can, I think you can limit it, because you can, it doesn't say you can vote, but it says basically provided that the board can do it. The time and matter, provided by such board.
Should we ask them also when they're submitting this, like how long they might need?
Yes. And then you would make a determination whether there's time that night on that agenda to do that, you would do it ahead of time.
okay,
You would do that, the Craig, would be,
okay, that's fine,
the chair would decide if there's time on the agenda.
okay.
And if there wasn't, then I think you would direct the citizen just to speak their 5 minutes at the public agenda.
Okay. All right,
And then if it needed more, we could put it on the next.
yeah, if it looks like it's gonna, we have really good support to do that, yeah. Now, my question is. This is something that we have to put, we really can't vote on, okay, we have to put it in there. I think we've covered what we can or have thought we could change and vote. Is anyone prepared to vote, or do they want to see another clean copy next time?
Let's vote.
Jason,
I mean, I think everything's been,
what do you think? I'm gonna take one right, Jason, what do you think?
Well, as long as the clean copy is what we're voting on, yes. Vote on it. If we need to see a clean copy,
It's, how do you feel? Do you, because the things that, the only thing that we changed here is, the extension to the public comment. And the addition of, am I correct, the addition of the ability to have an agenda item put on by the public on our agenda. Which we cannot, the one we voted on, this one we can't vote on, it's gotta go in there somewhere. I guess.
mhm.
And if you wanna feel uncomfortable voting now, you can wait till next month, 2 months.
I don't think voting.
Have you all talked about the defining what VPs do?
Well,
We did.
yeah,
I mean,
We haven't voted on that.
Which one blesses the babies, the second VP or the first?
we didn't add that.
Oh. I've been on other boards, I don't think that the VPs ever did anything. I mean, all they did was take over for the,
And we're calling it first vice chair.
Chair, yeah.
And second vice chair.
Yeah.
We can-
that's what they do.
So I'll make a motion that we. Instead of president, we have a chair. Instead of vice president 1 and 2, we have a first vice chair and a second vice chair. With the first vice chair taking over when the chair is missing, is absent. And the second vice chair would run the meeting if the chair and the first vice chair were
Did you
absent.
get that? Did you get that, Keely?
No, she didn't, I was talking to you.
Oh,
I have, so the items that you're wanting to essentially amend into your clean copy is the time extension for the 40 minutes. The,
It's not necessary, it's not totally, we're still 25 minutes unless we need the 40 minutes. Is
Right.
that clear?
Right.
I want that-
Yes.
yeah.
It's what she said.
They're changing the president's chair.
I have that one, and then,
she just put a motion in, that's why I was gonna ask you if you got this motion she just put in. Would you restate your motion and speak up louder? So she-
Okay. The motion is that the president is called the chair. The vice president 1 and 2 are referred to as first vice chair and second vice chair. The duties of the first vice chair is to run the meeting if the chair is absent, and the second vice chair's duty is to run the meeting if the chair and the first vice chair are both absent.
Do I have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I guess I should be asking. I should actually be, Jan, I should be asking, actually, ask if they have any discussion,
Who?
the public.
Oh, yeah, we should ask if they have any comments.
I know, you guys have been doing that. Sorry. Any comments on that?
on what, on the vice chair and chair, is that what we're talking about?
Yes, yes.
Or the whole thing, she said, or the whole thing.
Or the, what are we commenting on?
What her motion is, I'm sorry.
On your motion, just making sure. No.
Yes,
One comment, rather than say run the meeting, I would say assume the duties of the chair and the.
I don't.
that's right. Assume the duties.
Or I noted presides over meetings,
Okay.
because it kind of mirrors the thing.
Although assume the duties, I mean, if you're not available to do the agenda.
Assume the
Assume the
duties,
duties.
probably that, yes,
Because
yes,
if
because
you're,
I had to do that when,
right,
what's her face,
Yeah.
I had to put everything out. and do it.
yes.
That's a good idea. Okay, so the motion is amended. Do you want to make a substitute motion? Or just change it to,
Can we just change it?
Just change it.
Do I have to actually repeat it?
no,
No, a couple things. So when we find out and there's only 3 people, if any of the 3 have anything to say, it's not at each motion. Normally you all would discuss, you would take it to them to see if they have any discussion about all the topics in general on this topic. Like whether they have an opinion on how long they should get to speak or that kind of thing. And then you bring it back to your motions and pass whatever you're gonna pass. So really, I would pause right now, ask the 3 if they have anything they want to say about anything like the bylaws to say, or how long they'd like to be able to speak. And they don't have to speak as to the actual motions, but just the topic.
is there anyone who would like to speak to this?
You want us to come up there, if he just wants to speak?
Just say something.
Okay, I would just say, I agree with just making sure the public gets to speak when they can, because like, and when I come, I don't know what anybody else is gonna talk about. So, I understand that, okay, they talked about that, let's add to it, but it's, my only concern is this is for the public to come, and this is where we get to come and say stuff, so not. Like, not saying you shouldn't let the report, but you know what I'm saying, don't,
So you're in
cutting
favor of
off
the motion.
the public.
Thank you. Okay. Now then, the motion passed. I will know all those in favor of your motion. It's a good thing. Raise your hand. So we have that added,
Yeah.
okay? Is there any other motion that you want us to say? Do you want to take a vote?
I'll make a motion that we pass the bylaws as amended.
A second?
I second.
All those in favor? We'll have a clean copy for you next one. Well, actually, right, okay, right?
Well. You'll send it out to us tomorrow, right?
No, next month. No, sorry, next time we meet. Okay, next up is Nancy on the budget.
Okay, what I have done is I just have, just a list of things I'm gonna throw out for everyone to kind of think about. You can do your own research.
Yep.
You can do your own research and then be ready for the discussion in January. Okay, number one, the case state report that was done said that we were 18 ACOs short. I'm just throwing that out, but there's no way they'll do it. Okay. In our request, if we need to specify on ACOs if how many, if any, for in-house, how many, if any, for in the field. So say we want to ask for 4, or we're going to put 2 in-house, 2 in the field, or whatever. Estimated annual salary with benefits is for starting 56,000, cap is 75,000. Number 4, the board must tell in the request how this increase in staff will be paid. Number 5, it has to come out of the Wichita Police Department budget. The online, there were 2 surveys, the online survey results, 1,022 people responded, and this is the one that's on Facebook and everywhere else. 989 put their demographics. I went through, I might be off 1 or 2 because it was a PDF. I could not get a to a Excel spreadsheet to sort it, so I had to count, and the numbers were real little, and I couldn't enlarge it. 161 marks that they wanted it reduced by 15%. 65% said 10% reduction, and 165%, and that's the one I might be off a couple, a 5% reduction. So out of the 1,022, 391 wanted it lowered, 631 wanted no change, and there was no options to increase. There was a survey sent out to 5,000 people, 461 responded. I would suggest both of these can be found on the budget page on the wichita.gov. That is more of that's kind of they compared nationwide, and you just need to do a lot of reading to figure that one out. But anyway, they said that it was somewhat lower, is what the people stated. In January, the process begins. Council members start sharing their ideas. I would recommend that once you do your research, talk to your council member or mayor when to do. Current staffing, and this is one of the facts, current staffing does not take into account when staff are on vacation, call in sick, or off for a holiday. And with that, they don't shut down for a holiday. They're on, like Veterans Day, they're open, full staff. Well, each staff member gets a day off paid, and so you know, they're shorthanded on those days. Let's see, even days closed to the public, like for example, training, they're gonna be closed on Thanksgiving. The field officers and the shelter staff still work. And that is all I came up with. I did try to get some more information. I have a couple of emails out. But I have not gotten these books.
Is there any discussion?
I would just like to clarify the surveys that you mentioned,
Mhm.
were those specific to the city budget
Yes.
or,
They are put up by the city.
no, it was not specific to lots?
No, it is
Or-
overall, it is overall.
Any other discussion?
I don't know, Emily, do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, if you guys have any, questions for me or comments on it. You think?
Here. Okay, we'll go to the next item, agenda, obsolete information online by Nancy.
Okay, I have. I discussed this with Dante Martin in August, a couple of people that I had been working. Googled and old flyers came up, and when it came up, it said wichita.gov, that is under, well, I guess the city manager's office. Anyway, he's been really busy this week. The two finalists and had interviews and everything. So, he was going to check with IT and, they are working on it, but I have not heard back from him. But it is an issue because the one that she brought up, the one particular, it was like from 2016 and WAS doesn't take care of wild animals or anything and they can't understand it. It's confusing. And so, I mean, even if they can just go on and say it's obsolete.
Right.
And in that regard, Emily and I have had discussions on that. Also, she's kind of overseeing the current information where eventually we will list it under the FAQ on the website. So that if anybody would contact anybody, we could direct them to that and tell them not to just be there and just. And that's all I have on that.
Okay, I have a question. Are you asking that there's some, are you saying that there's some obsolete, are you saying there's obsolete information that's online now that needs to be changed? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, she Googled something about WA and I can't remember, but because I do have the link. Because I sent it to Dante because he wanted to know it. And it's a flyer, like a 3-page flyer that was put out in 2016. And when you click on it, it comes up and it's listed that it's under wichita.gov.
Okay, and so you talked to Emily, she's talked to you about this?
Yeah.
Can you take care of that?
Yeah,
And they're working on it. It's an IT issue and it's already, I think, being handled, but
Okay,
and we're gonna continue to review the
Yeah.
online information and updates to the website and stuff like that.
but we're hoping that somebody at IT can actually mark it that it's obsolete, because you can't take it off. I mean, once it's on the internet, it's. So.
oh, you want it off the internet?
Right, that's where
Okay,
they're
I-
doing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't
it's on
know.
the
I don't
internet.
know.
But when they Google it and and it comes up and they click on that to get information, it's taking them to the wichita.gov website. It's listed that it is.
It's just still bringing up old links.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah,
bringing
that's-
up.
And that's tough, because that, you can do that on anything that you Google, you can Google and make sure, oh my goodness, that's obsolete.
Right,
It's sometimes very hard to get rid of it on the internet.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is that they are working on it to see if they can somehow mark that as if it does go to the wichita.gov
Yeah, cause
website.
it's like, if it's still pulling up, it means that they're still hosting it
Yeah.
somewhere, they just need to find it.
Right.
Any more questions?
Yes, I have a question. So obsolete information online. Take out the word obsolete. Information online. I've been contacted and people want to know, our information isn't there about our agendas and also, minutes, so who does that? Who puts all that on the online, site? Is that something?
I
we're
don't
supposed
think
to
we put
do?
it online.
It is.
What's that?
I mean, and it's not like, if you don't, okay,
I do.
they have to, I know, but I mean, you put it in the website for the city, right? It's not separate someplace else.
No, yeah, it's all just on the city's website.
It's on the city's website.
Under what we call animal services advisory.
Okay,
board.
so that's.
So it is there, all the minutes and
Yes, yes.
so,
2 months from now.
That's because they haven't been approved.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't post anything that's not been approved.
okay, so,
So because you guys have approved August and September's minutes, they'll show up tomorrow online.
okay, good.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, no, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah.
Any comments from the,
No, there is a lot of information out there, even on the website, that's not accurate. I mean, you pull up the Wichita Animal Shelter and there's stuff, and Emily and I have talked about it, there's stuff on there that's not accurate. There's a lot of information that's, when you start doing research and trying to figure out things that is not accurate.
well, that's evidently what Don.
That's what, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
And Emily and I are also working on the FAQ section.
I'm gonna backpedal because Ellen's getting old. Any comments about the budget? You didn't make a motion, so you just discussed it. Okay. Now, dogs are at large, George.
All right, I've been painting all day, so I think the fumes are getting to me. It was latex paint, so I don't think they're supposed to be in the fumes, but anyhow. So here on the 12th, so a week ago today, there was some dogs running at large, giving a problem to where I live. My mail goes into my house. So it's 100% secure. If my mail ever goes to the street, oh, you can put a locked box, they all say. I can take any locked box here in Wichita and get in it in a minute or less with a little crowbar. So that's not an option for me. Back in 2013, when I started this thing with the city and the postmaster and all that, it was because of dogs running in the postal service. I was trying to protect them. The postmaster actually came to my wedding 6 years ago. So I say all this, I got letters, so I was upset. And I'll be so upset that whoever has those dogs, if my mail goes to the street, I don't check my mail for 3 or 4 days. Guess what? If it's out at the street, someone else will be checking it for me, and it won't be someone I want to be. So I sent off a letter. It wasn't very nice, but I wasn't very happy. And we had this one guy that they've been to his house 8 or 9, now 10 times. And this guy he's got an ankle bracelet on, and he probably needs, after what he just did Saturday, probably needs to change it for an orange jumpsuit. This dog, it's a nice dog. It's a Belgian,
Malinois?
yeah, that. For some reason, I actually told him in my little deal, maybe they need to get Trump to come in here and deport it back to Belgium, but that's, so, but anyhow, they've been out to this house. And this dog, I found out, actually has killed a chicken, went in someone else's yard and killed the chicken. And that's supposedly, well, dogs can do that, but it was, running at large when it went over there. And then this is the killer, almost literally. This lady, postal carrier, went to this address on Saturday. And the guy, and these are her words, Emily was there talking, and she said it to me and Emily. She said, the guy said to the dog, "Get her." That's a federal probably offense when you're talking about a postal carrier having a guy get her to the dog. And then I gotta ask this question. When it says you have to have a leash on your dog, can the leash be 50 feet long? Is there a limit on it? Because this dog could get it like two houses away or something. So is there a limit?
Yeah, the tether laws are clearly outlined in chapter 6.
Is it probably 25 feet maybe?
I need to look it up again, I don't remember it.
But it's not 50, right? Probably.
Probably not, but I think it also has to do with the fact that you said that the tether was extending into the neighbor's yard, and so that's that obviously an issue.
Well, that's what the postal
Yeah,
carrier said. I don't.
that called me,
She hasn't.
no, and so I was gonna contact her manager, just because we do need to get that, police report created. If that's what approved.
Right, and what, like I said, that's what she said, and you
Yeah.
heard it. So if that's true, that's wrong. That's wrong. You can't have a dog attack us. And that's federal time. So, but anyhow, so that's why I was a little animated. I'm sorry. But you can understand, my mail's important to me, and if it's out at the street, it'll be in someone else's hand. So,
Is there a limit on the number of times the dog can be loose before it's picked up? Yeah, is there a limit on the number of times the dog can be loose before it's picked up and the owner held accountable?
I mean, that,
Or
we are always, that, one time, please.
you've only been out there once?
No, if the dog is running at large.
Yeah.
We have to be able to see it and capture it and catch it.
But you said the animal control's been out there how?
10 now.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that, I mean, if a dog, you know how dogs are, it's
I know.
running around, that doesn't mean that by the time we get there, that the dog is going
Sure.
to, we're gonna be able to have it. And I can't talk about any individual, situation.
I just, in
But we
general.
do write citations and it is legal, it gets against ordinance to have a dog running at large.
This guy with the Belgium Malamute,
Melon,
Malinois, all right, Malinois. All right, well anyhow, this dog jumps over the fence and goes in the neighbor's yard. And the neighbor has a boy dog and it's been fixed. And this guy is a wrestler, the guy that owns the Belgian dog. And he wants that dog to like be the dog, so that dog goes over and is hunching the male dog, because he wants it to be the dominant one. Because he was telling me, I talked with him one day before I figured out, and he said, oh, that one right over there, she shows him who's boss. She shows him who's boss. And so he's, like I said, the guy's a wrestler, so he's into that whole trip thing. So, I don't know where we're going with that dog, but I'm guessing, and it's really not the dog's fault. The dog's actually a pretty nice dog. I mean, killed the chicken and did a couple other things, but it's a pretty good dog. So I hope that it doesn't get euthanized. So that's all I have to say.
I'm going to ask something. I know that many times dogs are running at large. And the members of the neighborhood see the dogs running at large. But by the time an animal control officer is there, the dog is no longer there, maybe 2 blocks over and maybe behind someone's house. And so are you telling me that you have to see the dog, an officer has to see the dog running at large for you to write a ticket? You can't have the neighborhood saying, this dog is out and I got a picture of this dog right
No,
now.
I was saying to collect the dog.
Or to pick up the dog, yes, okay. But you can still write a ticket.
Yes.
Okay, and so how many tickets does it take before you can click, I mean, I know that this is an issue with, you can write a ticket and the ticket goes to court, right?
Yes.
Okay, and if the court doesn't enforce the ticket, you can write 10,000 tickets and the dog can't be, you still can't pick it up.
That's
Am I
right,
wrong?
I would say, my understanding of one of the challenges with the citations in court is that if the complaining party or the victim doesn't come to court, they can't charge it. And so that's one of our biggest issues, because the person does get a notice, and if they don't attend to document that, then we don't have.
Okay, but do you make sure that the complaining parties know that they need to come to court in order for it to be done?
Well, that's not handled in my department, but I do believe the court does.
Okay.
One of the things with police, like I can't say that I saw this guy do that or whatever. police say, no, we have to see it. I can't say the guy ran a red light or whatever, they have to see it. But in your world, if I take a picture, I'm a witness and my picture's a witness, correct? So that's when you can do something, because now you have two witnesses, me and my picture, correct?
Yes, to an extent, that can offer a lot of nuance, because. Like, for example, a picture that you sent me of a dog, was just showing a dog in a yard. But that doesn't give me enough, general information to show that that dog was running a large, so as. Video, for example, showing that the dog is running indoor yard or outside of that person's yard would give us enough.
Well, he was in my yard.
Yeah, I know, I just meant like, for example, one of the pictures, this isn't saying that you were the issue, I was just trying to give you a reference point. If all I see behind him is names and nothing else identifying, then I
Oh,
wouldn't
okay.
know where the dog is, it's just that.
I'll up my game on my picture taking.
Okay, any discussion about that? Any more discussion? Okay, well, I'm up next. I'm gonna try and make it short. Okay, concerns about non-strays intake. Right now, the board of directors, I mean, the advisory board, the Humane Society is supposed to take owned animals, and Wichita Animal Shelter is supposed to take stray animals. And we have such a serious issue with animals that need to be rehomed, that I've had many phone calls and have dealt with many people who are calling saying they have no place for the animal to go. They've called rescues. Rescues are full, and rescues say we're full, we can't take them. And they call me as a rescue, or they call me for a spay neuter, especially if they need the animal to be euthanized. And and it's hard for me to deal with a person who is crying on the phone because they're getting evicted and they don't know what to do with their dog. There's no place for them to take their dog. And I ask them the questions. I say, have you contacted all the rescues? Yes, I have. Have you contacted the Kansas Humane? Well, I'm gonna take it there tomorrow. But I don't really want to. And I said, but you're not gonna be able to take it there tomorrow because they have an intake of 2 weeks out, okay? So I tell them that that's not an option at this game. If you have to get rid of it by tomorrow, you have to do something. And so I end up giving them, I mean, and these are people that, there's a lot of people who just don't care. They don't want the dog anymore. They'll just go dump it. But I'm talking to people where these people love their pet and they're in a situation such as in a domestic violence case. People, I have a child that's very allergic to the dog and they have to get rid of the dog and they've tried every option and there's no place for the animal to go. Or death of an illness, and then death is a really serious thing because if one person called and the pit bull was found lying next to their dead cousin and they flew down to take care of it, but they had to go back up to, and they said, what are we gonna do with this pit bull? And they couldn't find, there was no place to take it, okay? And also I have situations where they found the dog and they say, that dog's gone, the landlord say, that dog's been found and you're not supposed to have it, so either the dog's gone by this weekend or you're gone. And that is pretty, I mean, that's pretty strong. They'll kick them out, especially in the lower income places. They'll say you gotta go because you're in violation. And I know that many of the times that people are trying to find a home for the dog. There's some people that just don't care, but I talk to a lot of people that do care. And so I have to tell them a couple of things. I have to say, I have to say, okay, well, I plead with them, don't abandon your dog. First thing I say, don't do that. I tell them all the reasons why. And the second thing I say is, if you just can't do this, if you can't find a place, then think about euthanizing the animal. Because I don't want it on the street, because I tell people that that's not, and we all know what happens to a lot of animals that drop on the street. But what's happened was really wonderful now, okay, but I don't think it's in Wass's prevail to do, is that the Wichita Animal Shelter has now started taking XUPs on emergencies, correct? I mean, because I've sent them there. And when I talk to someone and they're pretty upset and there's no place for the dog, and I certainly can't take it, and nobody else can take it, and Humane Society says it's 2 weeks out. Do you guys take, I don't think you take emergency intakes, because I've told them to walk in there and they've been turned away.
Yeah, no, that's inaccurate. So we're in alignment with WAS on on the reasons, the emergency reasons that we will take walk-ins, and they're the same reasons that WAS takes walk-ins. So, if there's specific instances, then I need to follow up, with my staff on that, but, we don't turn people away if they have no other option. That is.
Seriously? Cause that's
Ser-
not what I'm hearing. That's not what I'm
Serious.
hearing. I've
Seriously.
had people walk into the Humane Society. I said, no, just go in there and say you gotta do that. And they'll say, oh, you gotta make an appointment. Here's, you gotta do this. So, and I know, because they tried, I've had people say, no,
Yeah.
I even walked in there and they turned me away.
Yeah, I have heard that broad statement, a number of times. I have talked to my intake staff. We have set things that are, these are the situations in which you should be taking in walk-ins, like if the person has no other options, if anybody who's gonna lose their home or lose their place to live, anybody who's going into a domestic violence shelter, like, we have these things established, and if my staff aren't doing it, I need to know about it. But
I can certainly quantify that, because I've had people that I know, they went in there and they said, and I've even had people that did wait for the 2 weeks and get an appointment, call me back and say, well, I went, but they won't take my dog, so now what am I gonna do? Okay, because they turned the dog away, but.
right, so we would not be turning that dog away if they had an appointment. What happened is we told them that dog was not an adoption candidate for one reason or another. For owned intake, it's generally behavioral. So this animal is not going to do well in an animal shelter, so we will take the dog and we will have to euthanize it, and we let them know that. But we're not going to put a dog that is dangerous back on the streets just because somebody wants to rehome it with us. So in those cases, we are not turning them away or telling them that we won't take the dog. We're telling them that the dog is not going to be an adoption candidate. We don't have rescues that are openly taking animals that are in that situation.
These are not dogs that are, and when someone calls me and says, my dog just bit my kid and I gotta find another home, I go, no. You need to take it to the vet and have it put to sleep.
Right, what I'm saying is.
These are very sweet dogs.
The information that
Okay,
you're given on the phone may not match the information that we're given in the room when we're sitting and talking with them.
okay.
Now, I doubt that there are some people that have been turned away that shouldn't have been? No, I do not doubt that. There are things that we can do better. But we are really trying to, this has been a point of stress, and this is a place where WAS and KHS are very much in alignment. WAS is taking in some animals that are in significant emergent situations, and so are we. And the goal always is to make sure that person does not have to walk, if they've already walked into WAS, or they've already been told that we're not gonna take the animal, and they go to WAS. Emily is doing the right thing, WAS is doing the right thing and saying, okay, we'll go ahead and take it. We don't wanna make them go back and forth from door to door when stories shift dramatically between what they say to us and what they say to them. So, we're very much in alignment with this, and the 2 week scheduling is something that we're working on and trying to work on how we can adjust and how we can expand that, but we take in walk-ins every day for these sorts of situations.
Bring a couple points of clarity just around this because, previous, leadership would not, take in any owner surrenders at WAS. First, under Purcell's leadership and under my leadership, if somebody is threatening to abandon an animal, we will take it in. If it needs to be a mercy euthanasia, we will absolutely perform that for them. Or if they are in fear of their family and or pets due to an attack or a bite or something like that, we will take the animal in for those reasons. To outside of the potential animal abandonment, those other ones would not then become adoption candidates, we provide euthanasia services for them. The, and the threat of abandonment should not be taken in advantage of, because that's also something that can be, provided as a citation. So people should understand that, but for people that are in true emergency situations, as in they just immediately became homeless. That's what we're trying to fix, but the WAS and KHS have worked together for a lot of years to deal with the what we call it ping pong in our foyer. Of people being sent back and forth because their stories change or the situation has changed or whatever has happened there, but there's also I get a lot of questions because our agreement, it was in the design of our two facilities, in the original proposal, was to create a specialization, for each shelter so that we could be better at it and be focused at, so that's why WASP would only be the one that took in strays, excuse me, and KHS would be the one that did owner surrenders. That doesn't mean that WASP was ever responsible, the city is not responsible for taking in the public's unwanted animals. That is you as an individual, the animal is your property and that's your responsibility. Just as KHS as a nonprofit has never been responsible for taking in all owner surrenders. And so it was just that in the division of those services, that is what we were going to take in. Wichita Animal Services as a public service does stray attacks, those types of things. It's not a government service for you to be able to drop off your unwanted pet. Does that make sense? So in the splitting of those services, that doesn't mean that now KHS is responsible to take everybody's unwanted pet. That doesn't, they're just not capable of doing that, especially when they're the majority of taking all of the transfers from abandoned animals that are in homes.
Okay. Well, I have a question, because when people have said that they tried to make an appointment to turn their animal in, they couldn't make that appointment. Okay, and I've had people call me and says, "Well, I can't make it. I can't." And I said, "Well, you have to call." And I tell them, I said, it starts at 12 at midnight. They open it up, and they will take one cat or one dog or one litter of puppies or one litter of kittens, but not always the puppies or kittens, sometimes two, but that's per appointment. And the appointment is a 1 hour appointment to take in the animal. Basically, that I looked at, I see that you're taking in generally 5 appointments, okay? Generally, it runs 2 appointments for 2 hours for two dogs, and sometimes 2 hours for 2 cats. Sometimes only 1 hour, because I've looked at the schedule, and sometimes, and then you'll take maybe 1 litter of puppies, but a max of 5 puppies. I don't know how you come up with that magic number of 5 puppies, but because some dogs have 6 puppies or 8
Yeah.
puppies.
We take in whatever the number is.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, what you say?
We take in the number that there is. If it's,
Then you should take off a maximum of 5 puppies, then you should.
yeah, I'll have to look at the copy.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Frankly,
That's excellent.
frankly, I haven't read all the copy on the page.
Okay.
The numbers that we set it up at this point were based on the number of animals that we need to transfer, based on the flow of animals into WASP. How many we can accommodate as owned animals coming in on a daily basis. Knowing that we're also going to be bringing in walk-ins, and that we're also going to be dealing with other situations where we have to take animals.
And that,
So,
okay.
so that's how we've set up the appointments to start, again, to start. Like, this is a process that we started on September first.
I'd like to see how you could look at possibly increasing the numbers over the desk, because every time they don't have well, not every time, but many times, that is why, when the rescues won't take them, when the animal shelter can't, now that the animal shelter is taking them, that's good, then and I only send the real desperate ones to you guys. But the people don't know that. They're told, well, I can't make an appointment, everyone's full, so that's where the animal ends up on the street. Okay, and that's what we don't want to do. And when they end up on the street, or they come to the animal shelter as a false stray, then that puts more work and time on, and is really detrimental to the animal community. And the community that has to take care of the animals that are, have to deal with the animals that are being dumped.
It's worked for us too. I mean, so we signed the joint operating agreement and over the years several times. I don't remember what the most recent year that agreement was signed. As a statement of intent, the city itself has said that it is not a binding contract. Because the city is not paying us to do anything. We are a nonprofit that is offering the resources that we can voluntarily for animals that don't have any other option. And we want to continue to do that for as many animals as we can. And so over the years, those services have changed and they've evolved. So that we can try to take care of the maximum number of animals we can with the resources that we have. The city is not giving us anything to come in and evaluate those animals. Every single animal that comes in is an animal that we have to go over and spend time evaluating. If it was as simple, and if it was a one-to-one, if it was as simple as me saying, if we brought in 5 more dogs today, 5 less would come into WAS. That's a simple thing to do. That's not how it works.
I understand.
And so we have to use the resources that we have. We voluntarily use those resources in partnership with our public partner to try to do the most good that we can for the most animals. And frankly, the strays and the community of strays have no other option. We try to find a solution for every single one that we can. And then we try to help the owned animals because the owned animals at least have an option. Some of them don't, and those are the ones that we're supposed to be taking in as walk-ins. I can hear your frustration and I understand where you're coming from, but the city, we are not beholden to the city to provide some level of service. And I think there's a misunderstanding. We've offered to provide a level of service because we think it's the right thing to do. But if there's no money and there's nothing behind it and there aren't resources to support it, we're just doing it because we think it's right. And we're still doing it and we're still trying to do it. But it's difficult for me to come to a meeting like this that's supposed to be about Wichita Animal Services.
Well,
And to be questioned about the service that we're providing at no cost to the city of Wichita. And for it to be intimated that we are knowingly turning away people who are in dire situations. I understand that you've encountered some people like that, but I come here because I'm a partner with WAS.
and that.
I don't come here to be told